sap, buckets, tubes, boilers, evaporators. We're going to learn about all that stuff. It is 2025 New Hampshire Maple Weekend. We are starting here at the Mount Kearsarge Indian Museum in Warner, New Hampshire. It is an absolutely gorgeous day, and we thought we would start at the beginning with the history of maple sugaring and how it really all began with the indigenous people in this country. They've been making maple sugar for thousands of years, well before colonists came. They were the ones who discovered how to tap into the sap. They're having an event today, so we thought it'd be a great place to start. Let's do it. We're doing a little demonstration over here, and I think what they're doing is showing how to take the sap from the tree and turn it into maple syrup without a big fancy evaporator. Early discoveries and people living out in nature that really paved the way for a lot of the stuff that we consume, of course. So, so you can see there's sap in the bucket there, and it's just over an open fire that has to boil down, and some of it will evaporate. What's left will be the sweet stuff. Got some information and things for sale here, and the museum is open seasonally. They're open today. We are not going to go in. We are going to come back soon because my boys really love this museum. It's a wonderful museum dedicated to Indigenous people, not just from this area, but from all over. So a really good resource to have in this beautiful part of the state. How long does it take for this sap to become the good stuff?
I believe it's 50 to 1. So you got 50 gallons to 1 gallon.
Okay.
And I've started with 7 gallons.
Okay.
So, yeah, and end up with a little tiny amount.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So, I'm going from the copper pot into the little clay pot.
Okay.
And then by the end of the day, I'll just be 1 clay pot.
Okay.
And see how concentrated I can get it.
Yeah.
So I'm doing the preheat and the copper on the top, and then going down to the little ones.
They wish they had those big evaporators back then.
Yeah, a little different than today. So when I look at the clay pots, it's technology for that time period.
Yeah.
And then once the Europeans brought over copper kettles, those guys are like, whoa.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
so,
the copper, yeah.
So that technology changed once again.
Yeah. So that would have been a hot commodity for trading.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's very cool.
And they were trading furs and lumber. The King of England owned all the trees in New England.
Yeah.
It's like...
Hence the mass tree riots.
Yeah.
There are really nice trails here. They call it the Medicine Trail. They've got local plants and things that show how the native population would use them for medicinal purposes and things like that. There's like a little wigwam village over there, and again, a really nice museum. So we will come back at some point, but this is Maple Weekend. So we're actually doing it backwards because we wanted to get here first. We thought it would be a good way to open with showing the way that the first peoples took the sap and made it into maple sugar. We're going to explain more about that process in just a minute, but this is kind of our agenda. So the next place we're going is just down the road here, and then we're going to go out a little bit further and do kind of a big loop until we get back sort of into our general area. There is an exciting stop here for a beer in Northwoods Brewing because they have collabed with our favorite sugar house, and we'll see if it's our favorite sugar house again this year. 3 years in a row it has been. They make a beautiful dark syrup. Really nice folks over there at Maple Saint in Deerfield, New Hampshire. And again, they collabed with Northwoods Brewing, so they have created maple beer, which sounds fantastic, and we'll probably enjoy a little pit stop at that point. And there'll be other sights to see along the way. This isn't just about maple. It's, a beautiful afternoon spent with us, touring the back roads in New Hampshire. And that's part of the fun is, not just the destination, but the travel and getting there. And on a day like today, man, just couldn't be better. So really excited. We look forward to this all year. Excited to bring you guys with us. And Warner's just a really cute little town right over here too. There's also a telephone museum, which is fantastic. We thought about coming the other day, but alas, it was closed for the season. So when that opens, that would be another fun thing. We are, this is on Shattuck Road. This is still classified as Warner, as you can see, very, very primitive. That's what kind of attracted us to it last year. They do not all look like this. You'll see just the variety in sugar shacks as we go along today. But they make a really great syrup, and we're going to take a look inside here and see what they've got. A modern evaporator. It pretty much takes up the entire space in here. But I'm telling you guys, I wish that I had smell-o-vision that I could deliver, because It is amazing. There it is. Most of these sugar shacks, they do give you a sample to try. So here's my first sample. Is it hot?
It's warm.
It's warm. Did you try it yet?
Yeah, nothing like fresh maple.
It's good, right? Here we go. That is so good. You're in the maple steam. You know what happens if you fall in there? You turn into maple candy. What I mean when I say buckets. So this is like the old school way. A lot of places still use it, where you tap the tree, and we'll see more about this later, and we'll probably even see a tree tapping. You put a hole in it, tap it, and the sap comes out, and you gather it in the bucket. You take what's in the bucket, you put it in one of these evaporators, and you let it boil, and it eventually, turns into syrup. But it is crazy because it takes a lot of sap to make the syrup. The ratio is way off, so you can have like a lot of sap and only a little bit of syrup. To get really good maple syrup and to make all these folks happy, what you need is beautiful sunny days like this and cold nights, which is what we've been having. And I follow a few of the maple sugar shacks, around the state, and they've been really happy. It seems like everyone's very thrilled with the current temperatures and the way things have been going, and the sap is running really well. So we should get a lot of that yumminess throughout the day from all the different farms we're gonna. And maple sugaring, it's science. And you'll see as we go on, like I said, the different style sugar shacks, the different style of evaporators. That was, a primitive one. We're going to go to one later in particular that uses tubing and reverse osmosis, and they have a much bigger operation. Oh, which one are we going to next?
6 sapling.
Okay, so that's the one. So the place we're going now, the opposite end of the spectrum. So this is working out perfect. You'll get to see, I think they do bigger volume. It's not just a little mom and pop thing, and they have a state-of-the-art facility there in their farm. So we're going to head there now, and we'll check it out. So we have arrived at 6 Saplings Sugar House, and we are in Wilmot, New Hampshire. This is a very nice family-owned maple sugar house. Member since 1940. To mention that New Hampshire Maple Weekend is always St. Patty's Day weekend. So you kind of always know what to expect as far as when. What you don't know what to expect is how the sap's going to be running and what the weather conditions are going to be. But this year it is absolutely perfection. And we are inside of the sugar house here at 6 Saplings, and here's a little chart showing you the ratios and what it takes to take that sap and make it into the awesome golden syrup. And this place uses reverse osmosis and tubing. Here's a little video about the process you can see. I have this computer screen here showing a map of all of their lines. So they use a tubing system and reverse osmosis to get the sap out of those trees. And it's pretty high tech in here. We came here the first time last year and we're really impressed with the process. You can see it's been modernized, a little different than what we saw at the Indian Museum in Warner. Really streamlines the process and makes it pretty cool. So you can see there are the tubes that are tree to tree, and we'll step out and see if we can, at some point today you'll see the tubes in real life, but that's kind of how they do it. They tap them just like you would any other tree, but they connect the tubes using reverse osmosis to move the product. Very impressive, large evaporator. You can see exhaust through the roof there. And most of the equipment that is bought for sugar houses across the United States is purchased from companies out of Canada, just because they've been doing this a long time. Now, bottling is the most expensive process of this whole thing, and it's part of the reason why the cost is so high in the syrups. We'll take a look over here. I'll show you guys what I mean by that. So, this is some of the product they have for sale. These folks go on it together. So you'll see this packaging again and again at different sugar houses in New Hampshire. it's a more cost-effective way to bottle it. And then what you do is you just look for the sticker on them showing you exactly what sugar house you bought it from, but you will see this style of container. And then the glass bottles that the places have cost a lot more money. They are nice, but cost more money, not just for the consumer, but for the owners of the sugar houses. And especially if you choose to get them like custom etched or something like that. And you'll see all different types of these as we go about the day. Is a pint and it's $12. I mean, I think it's worth it. It's a local product. It's good for you. A great way to support your state. Now, other states do have maple syrup. Of course, Vermont being the largest producer in the United States. Canada outproduces us, but in Canada, the maple syrup production is very, very regulated, and the government definitely has their hands in it. They have giant warehouses where everybody pretty much there makes their syrup and then has to store it up to government regulation, and they have stockpiles for years to come and make sure that they never run out. Here in the Live Free or Die state, it really is up to the individual sugar house to do what they want, and it's not regulated, so very different.
Old school taps.
Yeah, so essentially, okay, like let's pretend this is a tree outside, which we will find them out in the wild, but this is a cool display to show the different types of taps. So like obviously this is an older style tap, and this is how they use the tubing now, but either way, that's basically you are drilling into a tree, putting one of those taps, letting the sap fall out of the tap, gathering it and putting it in the evaporator, boiling it down and making it into syrup. Now it might seem like an easy process to you, but it's actually a lot of work because it takes so much sap to get the product. And you also have to take care of the trees and the taps. And there's a lot of cost and physical labor involved with it. And you also, of course, need maple trees. So that's why they're not in every state. So what I was going to tell you guys is, you know, Vermont is the biggest producer in New York. And then I think, you know, Maine, New Hampshire. Does Rhode Island have maple?
No, Pennsylvania.
I don't think so. Pennsylvania, little in Connecticut. Ohio has some, I believe. Yeah. And is it Wisconsin or Minnesota?
Yeah.
Maybe both. One of them also has maple syrup. But
you have to have the cold nights and the warm days to get it to flow.
Yeah, you need cold nights, you need warm days, you need maple trees, and you know, that isn't this setup in every state or every area. So that's why Canada and then here in New England, it's so prevalent, and I think, you know, it's a unique thing, and that's, you know, part of the reason why we've embraced it. Other thing we absolutely love are these maple candies. So, you know, along with the syrup, there is maple cream, maple syrup, maple sugar, which we love. We're going to get some of the maple candies from here. And, you know, they're doing some fun things with donuts. Different places will do different things. I think I've taken you guys out to Max Maple in a previous video where we got the maple creamy, which is a unique thing to New England. So everybody puts a little different spin. Last year we got some hot sauce at one of the places near us. And, you know, these folks are doing some maple caramel corn, stuff like that. So, yeah, there's a lot you can do with it, and I'm sure we'll talk about that more as the day goes on as well.
It's hard for us to clean the pans.
Yeah.
You actually have to take everything off the top. So this year we added the pan cleaner, so we can clean it after we're done. We'll drain everything out, and then we'll flush the water through to clean the back side of the pan.
Oh, cool. Now this equipment is very expensive.
It is very expensive.
And it
More
comes
than my truck.
Oh wow. And it primarily comes from Canada, just because they've kind of cornered the market.
They have kind of cornered the market, so this is a lot here. And this did come from Canada. We had it shipped in. It came in parts and pieces, and then we had to put it together. The main part on the bottom was the only part that was all in one piece. So it came by tractor trailer truck. From there, we had to move it to a car hauler, and then they backed up to the door, the double doors here, and then they put the ramp on an angle, and we slid it in on pipes. So where it sits is probably where it's going to stay forever.
So this bottle is 40 years old.
Yes.
And it's still good to go.
My dad, my brother and I made it when we were little, and there's no mold on the top. The only thing that you can see is there's a sugar crystal growing on the bottom.
Oh yeah, that's no big deal. Sugar crystals.
You can open it up and put it on a pancake or a waffle or use it however you would want today. You just have to put it in the refrigerator like you would normal syrup.
That's great. So we were just talking about how, you know, maple's wonderful and doesn't expire, because we were telling this lovely lady here that we bought a lot last year and still have a lot left over. So she was saying that she has a 40-year-old bottle, and that's this right here. It does not go bad. So you guys feel free to come and say hi to the Sugar Shacks and buy to your little heart's desire, because you could have it for years. So friendly here. And if you, so this is all off of I-89. I don't know if I said that before. 89 runs east to west across New Hampshire and eventually to Vermont. And it's a really easy part of the state to get to from pretty much anywhere. And if you're in the area, you're looking to do this, 6 saplings, and it's named after the 6 grandkids. How cute is that? But they are so friendly. And she remembered us from last year, and always really willing to talk and explain the process, and just a wealth of knowledge. So really, really nice. It's a family. They were, like she said, they were in a smaller spot before and then got this place a few years ago and have really invested into making it, you know, a really nice sugar house, and it affects the quality of the product, and they make a really nice syrup. So they're a really good one. The next place. He's got to get it going.
4A Maples.
Have we been there? Mm-hmm. Ooh, a new one. And see, you never know, like, what you're going to step into. I mean, you can already see the difference. And each one we go to will be totally different. But that's kind of the fun of it. And again, when it's this nice out. Fun too, because of course, just like any travel, meeting people and getting out and talking to folks, you know, especially here because it's your own state and you're dealing with families who are running these cool little businesses, you know, that's a big part of the fun. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but you know, it's Maple Weekend. That doesn't mean that you can't go to sugar houses other times. A lot of these will run for the next month, and some, you know, have websites, or you can call them year round to order.
They're open on weekends sometimes.
They're open weekends. They'll do special things. There's a couple down the street from our house, particularly one called Folsom Sugar House that we really love. That really nice folks there, and they do things throughout the year. They'll announce on their social media and stuff like that when they open, and I know that you can order from them, and they'll even open for you if you like need something. So it's boiling fresh right now, being made right now. There's a covered bridge. But that doesn't mean that you can't get it throughout the year to keep your supply going. Other thing is, you know, maple syrup is good for you. Yes, it's maple sugar, but it's low on the glycemic index. It's easy to digest, so people like me with digestive disorders, or people who might have other conditions, I think people who are diabetic, it's better for them. Now, I'm not a doctor, so disclaimer, seek your own nutritional and medical advice, of course. But it is much easier on the system. And unlike regular white sugars, raw sugar, or the fake stuff, it doesn't have, you know, those sugars don't have any nutritional qualities at all, whereas maple sugar and maple syrup actually have minerals and nutrients. So not only easier to digest and easier for your body to absorb the nutrients, but nutrient rich to begin with. So a very good thing and delicious. You know, it just doesn't stack up to the chemical ridden syrups that you can buy at the store. And you know, there are places where you can't get this. I say, you know, friends don't let friends buy grocery store fake syrups. And you know, in places like the UK where we visit, they have something called golden syrup, which is basically like corn syrup and chemicals. And in other states, for instance, we send maple to my mother-in-law, hi mom if you're watching, in Mississippi, because she can only get the chemical-ridden stuff in her grocery stores. So there are people in other parts of the country that depend on us for delicious American New England maple syrup. And my mom lives in Maine. She swears that the maple syrup in Maine is best. If you talk to somebody from Vermont, no surprise, they will say that their maple syrup is the best. And people in New Hampshire, we know that ours is the best. So the maple war wages on. Just kidding, we're not going to the new one yet. This is it Trailside?
Turn left onto
Trailside,
the destination is on your right.
Maple, which we have come to every year. This place is really, really good, and they have a nice little setup. So I'll hit this first and then the new one after. New Hampshire internet is notoriously bad, and we're actually in an area that doesn't have any. So we're gonna have to get back into some kind of a town to put in the address of the next place, which we think is close, and that's why the list got weird, and we thought we were coming to the new one first. Anyways, it's a whole thing, but we shall figure it out. This is the one that it's always like all the friends hanging out. It's kind of cool. They like get together and hang out all weekend and do the maple thing and invite people over, and it's kind of like a family vibe. Really good syrup though, like really nice. All right, so Trailside Sugar Shack, and this is their setup here. Nice evaporator in this cool sugar shack. I have to say that like 99.9% of people involved in the maple sugaring process, super friendly.
But it's coming back.
Again, super nice. Oh, look here, you can see like all the grades. And he was saying that just today they've gone through, usually the dark comes at the end of the season, but the weather that's been so sporadic that they did every shade today, they actually made and poured. These guys do a nice lineup of merch. We've got some hoodies, some beanies. Oh, the cotton candy, the kids love that. We better get some of that. Let's see kind of what's our haul from here. So now we're gonna find some internet and go to the next place. I think it's called 4A Maples. That's a new one to us. Talking with one of the guys in there, you know, you can do a lot with maple syrup. I have come up with a lot of recipes, you know, part of that owing to all the stockpile that we have and the need to use it. But it is great in coffee. You can put it in tea. I make cookies, scones. I make a maple bourbon chicken. It's great as a maple old fashioned. You take a nice whiskey, a little maple syrup, an ice cube, you can put some bitters, you can put a cherry. I usually just put like a orange wedge or a piece of orange peel, and be the best old fashioned you ever had. Thanks, pancakes. We barely ever eat pancakes or waffles. I pretty much eat oatmeal, like maybe not every day, but maybe almost every other day or more. And that's what I sweeten my oatmeal with, which is great. It gives you a little boost in the morning, keeps you full, healthy, full of protein, and those minerals. So basically you can just cook the oatmeal, and I usually cook a little of the maple in it and then add a little bit more after. Put some cinnamon, a little oat milk. Delicious. The maple cream that I bought is really good on toast or English muffins, again on scones, crackers. The maple sugar is awesome for putting in coffee, topping coffee, like the foam. When you make like a latte at home, you froth it. Yeah, so there's a lot of uses for it. You don't have to be like a pancake or waffle lover to enjoy it. So if you guys haven't played around much with maple as an ingredient in cooking, it's a good idea. And, you know, early America, the indigenous population and the colonists, they use maple a lot in those ways too. So I'm just kicking it old school even with my cooking. We found it. We've arrived at this one that's new to us, 4A Maples in Andover, New Hampshire. And I see some lines right ahead. So I can see classic little maple sugar house here, and a sweet little setup off the road. This is pretty rural, but see all that blue? That is the tubing in the lines. Really, really nice. Lines out there. This wood here powers this. Take the sap, boil it down, make the syrup.
Nice thought.
Let's see. Oh yeah. This is what we came away with from there. Just a cute little bottle. Looked nice and dark. Again, we don't need a lot this year. I feel kind of bad because we're just getting like mostly little things here and there. Just because we have such a stockpile, but I definitely want to get something at, you know, each place we go. So they were super nice in there. Really awesome setup. I would definitely come back. Get more next year when I'm lower over, because we saw this cool train station, and apparently it's also the home of the Andover Historical Society, which of course it is not open, but we thought it'd be a nice place to stop as we try to regroup. Having trouble with the internet again. It says we have full bars, but nothing will load, and that happens a lot here in New Hampshire, so I'm like, well, we might as well try to figure something out. So there is this cool old like post office with an old Coke sign here, and this neat train station trackside here. I figured we might as well take a look and take in a little extra history while we're at it. See if we can figure anything out with it. Old telegraph office. I do love old train stations. It's like stepping back in time. And we are very, very much in rural New Hampshire here. Old car there on the track, Central Vermont Railway with a maple leaf. That's on point. Today, of course, we're not talking about Vermont maple. We're talking about New Hampshire maple. Again, no matter what state you go to, everybody will swear that their maple is the absolute best. Can you tell the difference? I don't know. Some people swear that you can. I mean, there's definitely a difference in quality and grades and color, even within the places that we're going. But, you know, can you tell the difference state by state or region by region? Who knows? I also, in all fairness, pretty much stick to New Hampshire maple. So that is what I know. Okay. So the museum just closed. It's 10 after 3 and it closed at 3. So that's a shame. Otherwise that would have been a cool little stop. Let's see what it says over here. There's still some ice on the ground. Okay, this property has been placed on the National Register of Historic Places by the United States Department of the Interior. And I honestly don't know much about this area in particular or the Historic Society. Looks like it might be pretty cool. Sometimes these little hometown museums are real gems. Engineer's watering can. See, they got stuff even in the window. Hopefully Kay is figuring out the next stop. There is a sugar house that looked promising. Oh, there's an old photograph of where we are. But when I checked their Facebook yesterday, it said that they weren't going to be open Maple Weekend, but he said it was on the Maple Weekend list. So it's a little bit mysterious. And, you know, I mistakenly earlier thought that, like, this was great weather and, like, the maple's really flowing. Well, it is now. But in talking to the folks that are running the sugar shacks, most of them are saying that it just kind of got good in the nick of time. A lot of it is the wind that has been messing with this season, but now it's very calm and nice, so it kind of came just in time for Maple Weekend. So really, in a lot of ways, the season is just kicking off. So if you guys want to order some maple syrup from any of these places or go on the New Hampshire Maple Producers website yourselves and find a resource for that. You know, the season is still early, so you certainly can. There's some kind of a grave right there I would really like to look at. Let's see if we can take a look. So without going down there in the ice, it's hard to see what that says. My eyes are really bad, as I've said before. But I bet we could find it on the interweb, so I will post that information if I could find it. There's literally just like 2 headstones right there. Frustrating. I think we're on a rail trail, so... Whoa, I almost biffed. New Hampshire has all these really cool trails throughout the state that are like in the footsteps of old rail lines. And they're really great for like hiking and biking, snowmobiling and stuff like that. Okay, cool. So here we go. Oh, it's part of the Black Heritage Trail of New Hampshire. Richard Potter, a magician, ventriloquist, and humorist in the early 1800s, was the first American performer to gain nationwide fame. He helped make popular entertainment a major part of American life. Born in Boston to an enslaved mother, Potter studied there and in Europe with renowned performing artists. Early on, Potter's wife Sally assisted him on stage. He toured the United States and Canada for nearly 3 decades, charming audiences with his humor, ready wit, and showmanship. Nonetheless, he encountered racism and danger. Potter and his wife Sally, both, but oh, it's going into the snow, I can't. Moved to Andover in 1815, where he built a something buried in the snow. But evidently that is where they are buried, right there. There's some signage here that actually says, if you're visiting, we are not open. Feel free to enjoy the grounds. Climb on the caboose. Visit the graves of renowned ventriloquist Richard Potter and his wife Sally. His farm encompassed 100 acres here in the early 1800s. Okay, so that's what the rest of the stone said that's buried in the ice. View our new garden in the cellar hole of this house. Enjoy our picnic site. Peek in the window of the Imo store and post office, a fully furnished general store and gift shop for the museum. Property is open dawn to dusk. Oh, okay, so we can go peek over here. That is really cool. See, that is neat. I would like to come back here. I think the boys would like this too. History really is everywhere, and you just never know what you're going to come upon, but this is really cool. Got some neat antiques and stuff in there. Let's see what this says on the door. The village of Potter Place had its own post office, even though it was part of the town of Andover and only 2 miles from the Andover post office. Small villages, it was common for the post office to be in the general store. Store bought by George W. Weed and his son Fred in 1912, operated by them until 1916-17. List the owners. And can you guys see in there? No, it's hard. That's neat. I love that they have preserved it, and it's like part of the Historical Society Museum. See? You just never know. Fun. And that is the thing, you know, particularly that we love about New England. Of course, there's history everywhere. And now is to just drive, because the internet won't work, and there's really nothing that Kate can do. There's nothing I can do, because we don't really know. So, we're going to just drive, try to go the right direction, go to the next stop. So driving along, we got our internet restored and we have a plan, but we came upon this place that wasn't even on our list. I'm sure it's on the website, but I decided to stop because it looks pretty cool. Really cute. It's called the Outback Sugar Shack. Oh, I love that. This looks promising. Look at their syrup prices. I'm gonna go with a pint because we had the sample and it's really good. I'm going with the dark and robust. It's the ones I tend to aim for. I don't really get the super light stuff. This is really nice to cook with, also to bake with, or for the oatmeal or coffee. So it's very versatile, a little more rich tasting. Yeah, everybody is so friendly, and these guys, super friendly, husband and wife and family team. I guess they bought the business a few years ago from their uncle and have expanded it, moved it to the main road, which is great because that's how we found it, and super cute and really good quality syrup. So win-win. We're gonna move on, and where are we headed now? Try to find another place, and after that I think it's gonna be the maple beer and then our favorite sugar house to top it off. So more fun to get to. Bringing you guys along. We have arrived at Northwoods Brewing for the maple beer, and I think what we're gonna do, we decided, just because we've kind of ran out of time and it's getting late. Also, we haven't ate or drank anything all day, well, since this morning. I think what we're gonna do is enjoy maybe something to eat and try the maple beer here, and then hit the 3 other maple sugar shacks tomorrow. So we will just add it on to this vlog. All right, so we are sitting down, taking a look at the brewery here, and here is that beer list. Now, we are not big drinkers by any means, hardly ever drink actually. I mean, I do love my Scotch whiskey, but Kay especially rarely drinks. It's a treat, especially with beer. It's a once in a while, and today feels like a once in a while treat kind of a day. And there is that Maple Saint lager, made in collaboration with Maple Saint, New Hampshire Deerfield. Chestnut hued lager, carries notes of bread crust and gentle caramel. So I think I'm gonna give that a try. And I love that they do the 4-ounce pours for lightweights like me. So I'll probably get something to eat too, because so we got the flight. And oh, actually here you have a little cheater card. So it's maple and then a different maple. And then what was the one you picked?
The Lucky Cast Irish Red.
And then an Irish
Dry
stout,
Irish stout.
which is definitely for me because I like these really dark. That's like very, very like Guinness dark. So yeah, that's right. And we ordered a pizza. Again, this is a treat. But you know, maple season always signifies the beginning of spring. You know, the snow is melting. It means spring is coming, and it's kind of a day to celebrate. So we're treating ourselves. The one that's with the maple syrup that we like, the folks down the street that we'll go to tomorrow, and it's really good. Really, really good. Really light, sweet. You get that mapley coming through. Excellent start so far. And here is what we are working with. Definitely looking forward to relaxing tonight. Noah and I were up till 2 a.m. because we were watching storm chasers on YouTube all night, watching these horrible storms across the Midwest and South. We do have family in Mississippi, and we're watching that. But there were some guys in a truck going all across Missouri storm chasing, and it was quite addictive. Honestly, at 2 o'clock in the morning when I went to bed, I wasn't even tired. I wanted to watch more, but I'm like, we have to get up to go to the sugar houses tomorrow. And so I did not sleep very much. So I'm going to limit my storm coverage tonight and try and relax and get ready for the continuation. We will see you. Good morning, everybody. It's the next day. Okay, I'm going to share with you here my recipe for happiness, all right? I'm going to do this one-handed, but ready? We take maple syrup. And there's that jug that we see. Where's this one from? Okay, this one is from Maple Saint, where we'll be going today. This is from last year. Just been storing it in the fridge. So I put a little bit of that nice dark maple syrup in the bottom of the coffee cup. I add some of this creamer. Now this creamer is horrible. We try to eat healthy, natural, organic, stuff like that, but this weakness of mine is intense for the flavored International Light Coffee Creamer, especially the sweet and creamy. So good. All right. Add a bit of the, let's check in on that. Yeah, sweet and creamy. A little bit of cinnamon. I take these little like $10 frothers you can buy at Home Goods, Marshalls, TJ Maxx. Best thing ever. Take that and blend for a bit so it becomes nice and frothy. Okay, so it looks like that. Add your coffee. We are ready to get back in the car and start our day. So we'll be bringing our maple coffee along for day 2 of 2025 New Hampshire Maple Weekend. Let's do it. All right, guys, here we go, day 2. And you can see it's not as sunny out, but my gosh, it's warm. I have like an Irish sweater on and I'm schwitzing. It's oddly humid as well. Humidity, of course, something we deal with a lot in New England. I just haven't felt it for a while, so it's kind of funny. And we are here at Blueberry Hill Sugar Works. Stop here every year. This is the closest sugar house to our home. It's a great spot, so we're gonna get in there and get some cool stuff. And they do have a website. It's wickedsappy.com. Love this. And they do some really fun things with infused syrups, and that's usually kind of our go-to stop every year for that. So we're gonna go in the sugar house.
Yeah, there's so much heat in there, and then now you gotta dump water in there or something to save the pan from scorching if you're not careful.
Do you think that wood-fired versus oil makes it taste different?
No.
No, it doesn't. It's not like whiskey
Unless
where
you've
it's...
got, some guys, you know, if you're like real old school and you're like doing it like outdoors and you get like on a cauldron. Or
then you get the smokiness profile.
You're gonna get smoky in there,
yeah.
right? But with this, doesn't matter. I mean, there's steam ones, there's propane ones. This guy's use natural gas, oil, wood. It's all gonna be.
So it's like cooking on an electric stove versus a gas stove. Okay.
It's all gonna be the same as long as it's a big rig.
Gotcha.
You know?
All right, so we bought our bottle of vanilla infused, which is also awesome and coffee, and that is one that's good on pancakes and waffles for the occasional pancake and waffle. The kids especially love that one. Also look at the lines. So I just wanted to come over here and show you what it's like out here in the maple forest with the lines connected. So here is a modern tap right in to the maple tree, and you can see the lines, and it gets pretty complicated. It's kind of like chutes and ladders. You can see as they intertwine. And you know what else? This is a great time to hike around here and go for walks, which I'm really looking forward to doing, especially since most of the bugs are still dead and the ticks and mosquitoes are not out yet. They will be soon, so it's a little bit of a short window. That's the one problem out around here, you know, all the bugs, but it's great now because we did have freezes and it's still cold enough at night that they're not breeding as much as in the spring and summer.
There's a tank down there.
Anyways, there's one of the maple tanks down there, and you know, you can kind of see this string of lines as they connect and go through the forest here on their property. And again, he's a smaller producer, so he just does this for himself, him and his wife, and they sell right here in that little sugar shack that we were just in.
Look at that maple leaf painted on the wall.
And he was saying that he's not boiling today because it's been really busy and it gets sketchy with kids around, and he just doesn't want anyone to get hurt because it's a small sugar shack and the boiler takes up room in there and it gets really, really hot, and he's always very cautious of that, which is nice. I get it. So that's a look at how they do things here. Oh yeah, as I was saying, so this is for him and for what he's selling in there. Whereas, like I said, there are some larger producers that, you know, will go to people who have land and trees and get a variety from different properties and bottle it all together. But these guys are what I call single malt, not a blend. So this is straight from these trees, and it's so cool to be able to come, you know, this is New Hampshire, this is our home, this is where we live, and we can come here and see exactly where the local product's coming from. Doesn't get more farm to table natural than that, and it's good for you. And my coffee in the car, by the way, delicious. I'm gonna get you guys all on board the maple train, you'll see. All right, we came down to the road to the town of Chester, and we were at Folsom Sugar House. Now this is a little different because one, these folks use buckets to gather the sap, and two, they do have trees on their own land, but they also get sap from other people's trees. So like I was telling you guys about how a lot of people, like with the smaller operations, just tap their own trees. This guy has a variety, so we're going to take a look. And this place definitely has a special place in our hearts because it's the first sugar shack we ever came to when we first moved here. Actually, I think the first sugar shack I've ever been to, period, and the first one we ever came to when we moved here, and it's kind of the thing that started it all. So definitely special place in our hearts, and they're really nice, and we love their maple sugar. And here behind this historic stone wall, which, if you guys didn't know or haven't mentioned it before, these stone walls found all over New England are actually federally protected historic sites. They usually mark old boundaries for properties in the colonial era. So every time I see a stone wall, I get excited. So I'm excited a lot because there's a lot of these everywhere. But back to the maple syrup business, here is a tree you can see here with a bucket. So it has a tap in it, just like you would with the tubing lines, but it's connected to a bucket, so the sap goes right inside there, and you can see there is a good amount of sap in there. Now remember though that it takes a whole bunch of sap to make a bottle of maple syrup. So it's quite the process. All right, we're gonna go in the sugar house now.
Sap he collected earlier, he's vacuuming pumped back into the system to start making more maple syrup right now.
From other people's trees.
From the other trees he's collected, yeah.
Or in the tank. It's going through there, going into that tank, into their evaporator boiler. Yeah, style bucket here. Yeah, there's sap in there. All right. Yeah, this is really cool because he's got some examples of old equipment, antique maple sugaring equipment here. Here is what we come for every year. The best. Favor and tell me about how you make the sugar that we come back to you for again and again. It's a little different. It's the crystallized maple, but how do you get the...
In the shaker?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we heat the syrup to 270 degrees.
Okay.
And it looks like peanut butter boiling at 270. That's about the highest temperature you want to freeze it before it burns. Then you take that 270 syrup, put it in a mixer bowl and mix. And then as it's mixing and cooling, all of a sudden a plume of steam comes up and the rusted moisture is released and it turns into sugar.
Okay.
But you need syrup that has low invert sugar levels.
Okay.
Because the higher the invert sugar level, the best. It's not as good a syrup to make confections like the cream, the maple candy, and especially the sugar. If you use syrup that is too high of an invert sugar level, it makes like big golf balls.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. So you're going to Scotland.
We are.
We talk travel tips. We love it there.
That's where we end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always a good time in there.
They have the
And
cool soul sugar house thing.
they do.
It's
they're-
like a colonial little house.
I know. It's like one of my favorite. Like, today is the day of favorite sugar houses. You'll see. Like, overall experience, I think Folsom's. But again, the dark syrup at the next place we're going is fantastic. And they're super nice too. All these places, the people are just so nice. And they all offer something different, which I hope I'm getting across to you guys. But these folks here, yeah, it's the one that started it all for us, and they make really good product, and they're always super friendly, and he's always there. They're very hands-on, and I mean, he's the one who first gave us our education on it. So, and when we had first moved here, they gave us other great like local tips and things. Like we found our favorite butcher shop because they had suggested it when we were talking about food and stuff, and other spots to go, and they're just really nice. So,
And we always thought maple syrup was the fall.
yeah. Did I mention to you guys before? I don't think I did. So it's funny. We mistakenly, and I think a lot of people associate maple with fall. I think because leaves fall, and maple leaves are, featured on a lot of autumnal decor. And you just think maple, because like if you go to restaurants and bakeries during the fall too, they'll feature like a lot of maple recipes and stuff. But our thinking has been transformed. Maple season definitely signals the beginning of spring. And
Late winter, early spring.
and maple leaves, orange, brown. We still have a lot of leaves on the ground here. From winter, it's definitely stick season. But it means spring is coming. And maple is not an autumn tradition. It is a late winter, early spring tradition. So, yes. These maple candies are so good. And I'm going to do a giveaway. So keep watching and stay tuned. Do you guys like these? Have you ever had the pure maple candy? Amazing. We're going to do like a couple little giveaways with some little treats. So stay tuned for more information on that. On our way to the next stop, just wanted to talk to you guys briefly about Thomas Jefferson and his connection to maple sugaring. Him and Dr. Benjamin Rush of Philadelphia, two founding father legends for different reasons and in their own rights. But in 1791, Thomas Jefferson came up with a maple syrup scheme. He wanted to encourage farms across the country. See, the founding fathers loved agriculture and their vision for this country after the war. So remember, the war is technically over 1783, the Rev War. And 1791, Jefferson is already taking action. A lot of people were at different times, and it was always their vision to have America be as self-sufficient as possible, and knew that this was a place that is agriculturally rich. And, it's part of our heritage. And of course, after this, that would ramp up. Unfortunately, in the South, a lot of the land disputes and problems with slavery did lead to the Civil War, the war between the states. And Jefferson kind of foresaw that. So he was very anti-slavery, along with Dr. Rush. And these are two wonderful men, one from Virginia, one from Pennsylvania, who decided to take action, and they love maple syrup. I don't know how else to say it. They loved it. They loved it because Dr. Rush knew that it was a good, nutrient-rich natural resource, and Thomas Jefferson knew that it was something that we could provide for ourselves, and it was a way to sweeten America without the hands of slavery. So sugar was, made at the hands of slaves, sadly. And Jefferson's like, whoa, this is something we can do ourselves, and we don't need slaves to do it. So he encouraged farmers in post-colonial America, the free United States of America, to tap trees. He actually came to New England and New York. He went to, New York, Massachusetts, a little bit Connecticut, and a lot of time in Vermont, going to maple sugar houses and sugar farms and encouraging people and promoting the use of maple syrup as a dietary staple in the country, and encouraging people with tax credits and the information to kind of promote it. So, you could say that he was like the head of what would be, the board of maple sugaring in America, kind of like the precursor to any of that. And so I feel like he would have loved this, and it's kind of, along those lines that we do those things. I'm always thinking about my guys, right? The founding fathers and what they did. And it's cool because, again, all these things are connected, and we can see from their vision that it's still very much alive. And we have all these farms here that, I've shown you the last couple of days, are still providing nature's sweetener from their own states, their own trees, their own land. And it's definitely a good thing, and along, the vision of what Rush and Jefferson wanted. So I just think that's really cool, and I know I forgot to mention it yesterday and definitely wanted to mention it today. We are almost to our next destination, about 7 minutes away. Right, 10th Sugar Shack of the 2025 New Hampshire maple season. We're doing soap. I'm picking things for the giveaway. I'm gonna take home this dark cinnamon infused. That sounds amazing. You guys, are you having fun this Maple Weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah? It's been pretty chill, or has it been crazy?
Yes, off and on.
Yeah? It was sunnier yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More people come on the Saturday usually, typically.
Yeah. So you guys just come and help out with the retail side of it?
Yep.
That's cool. Do they make you work out in the fields and tapping the trees or doing that? Yeah. That'll keep you ripped.
Yeah.
Yeah. What grade are you guys in? Yeah.
10.
Yeah. Oh, cool. So are you siblings or cousins or what? Oh, you're all
They're
cousins?
siblings.
Nice. Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks. You guys are killing it.
Yeah, thank you.
We love Maple Saint. We tell everybody, like, when it comes to dark syrup, you guys, and you always have a lot of dark.
I know.
And that's the good stuff.
You only get like light like the first week you do it, and then the rest after that, it's all dark.
Yeah.
You can't like control it. It's whatever the weather does, kind of just how it works out.
Yeah.
So typically, like the first time we boil it, you get all light, and then after that, it's like all dark. But I mean, both taste good. It's just
Yeah. I really like the dark. It's good to cook with and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that when you're older, this is something you'd want to do?
yeah.
Yeah? Keeping it going? Kind of a generational thing?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you, guys. It does not get any fresher than this. He's literally just taken these bottles, and those are the official New Hampshire bottles that I was saying you can buy into a deal and you see over and over again. And he is filling them right here in the Sugar Shack, fresh. You can see it's hot going into the bottle. That is the freshest New Hampshire maple syrup that you can get. And it is delicious. Always a pleasure to come to Maple Saint and get some delicious syrup and other products. So here we go, this year's haul, and like I said, much smaller than in years past, but definitely a fun mix of things, something from each place. And I hope you guys had fun going on these little maple road trips with us. So if you guys stayed and watched the whole video, Culper and I really appreciate it, and we're going to do a giveaway. Go into the comments section of this video and comment New Hampshire Maple and tell me which of my vlogs so far has been your favorite. The first 2 that comment, I will send these in the mail. So just go ahead in the comments, leave that, and then I will get in communication with you, leave you my email, and then we'll go from there. And of course, like Patrick Henry, I know of no way of judging the future but by the past. Thanks so much for watching, you guys, and hanging out on this very sweet weekend. We will see you soon. Bye.